Right, well, we are live, I believe. Let me just make sure that is the case. And good morning to you as again, mates.
Hello, bud. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. There we go. Just making sure we're there. We are on. It looks like it might just be you and I early doors with the early birds. We might catch this worm. Let's see. Let me share my screen.
A few worms to catch, I think.
Yes, I think there are, mate. Yeah, but yeah, interesting actually. I think we've genuinely had some movement now. FTSE 100 moving to the downside. Are we putting the pound trade on still?
Yeah, why not?
Brilliant. Okay, so FTSE 100 moving to the downside. So I'm just seeing whether there's an add point. I have got a trade on them with this one. Got a much better price on my own account, but I am in just here. But I think I'll add to this as well. Let me just bring this down here. Talks about the fact that we trade. We're looking at some longer term time frames. So a pop back up into the same area is going to get me in. Now I managed to get into my account here actually. So this one was already live in the market, but I'd made a slight misjudgment on my account, which actually has done me a bit of benefit. Good morning, Crystal. Yeah, there should be some worms today, Crystal. Now we'll talk about why I think the FTSE today has got a better chance. But look at how it's broken through this this head and shoulders now. So I think it's got a good shout of actually picking up some pace this morning and getting through. And as I say, we'll talk about why it's not really about the technicals here, but the technicals should give us the opportunity.
You got a bit of a double cross going on there too, mate.
Bit of a double cross. You'll have to show me that.
Okay. Your previous 4-hour bar, not the current bar, went through it to the downside.
Yeah.
And your current 4-hour bar is going through it to the upside.
Gotcha.
So now the only problem with that is it's about the fourth time. It's about the fourth time it's happened. So that's not the best.
We'd have stops down here, right?
If you
we'd have entry. Yeah.
Enter there.
Yeah, I like it, and I think it's a really good place to go short actually. And one of the reasons I really like that as a potential short is when we look at this on a daily chart, which is what we'd really want to be trading. Then the daily chart really kind of would give us almost under this bar, but at least it clears out that in fact it's probably more like down there. Maybe it's more like the weekly. Yeah, it would get us probably under that weekly area. So it's almost like a sell stop on the weekly that we'd be trading there if that was to come down. And I like this weekly bar. It's got some pace to pick up now. But I think this has got a good shout, and I think we should check the barometers this morning and see what they suggest, and we will check some news and data. It's possible that we wait for some of that news from Europe tomorrow, and that may be a better course of action rather than trying to trade this too early. So we'll consider that as well. But first of all, we got the trade now. If I suppose for people that aren't in, that would still be a really good selling opportunity. This pivot area. So if this comes back up now, then I would suggest to sell. And it'd be a silly place for me to add because I'm already kind of in at the same price. But around this daily pivot looks like a decent place for an entry. So I'll put that in if and when it comes, because I do see us going through this area and getting down to this particular point here. So, which is potentially a 3% move, 180 pips. So we'll see what happens there, mate. We're just opening up, and the FTSE has just started. I can see from barometers that we don't have a huge likelihood so far from what this print is saying that we're going to just drop out the sky here. So I'm not going to add just yet, but I still like that particular price point. Let's get to the pound trade, and then we'll come back to the FTSE later in the day.
You've got a quick one on. It looks like Comrade Dennis is desperate on the DSX. If you want to have a look at that.
Oh, on the DAX. Yep. Yeah, of course. Yeah, if we've got time, that's no problem at all.
Well, we haven't, but I'll give you the levels for the entries if you like on the. I want a 4-hour. That might make a difference. Hang on 2 seconds.
Okay, no problem.
Dennis, I'll quickly give you the levels. Okay. Because we could be triggered short very
I'll tell
quickly.
you, there's some time on this. There's some time. Right. Oh gosh, actually, maybe not. Maybe yes, there is an entry there, Dennis, for sure. Weekly pivot would be the entry. Now let's just double check it because there is. I think you've spotted actually quite a nice one here. Probably better.
130.65 is the entry for the short, guys. If you wanted to on the pound. 130.65.
Well, there you go. 130.65 for the entry for the pound. It looks good, Dennis. It looks good. So entry there, and it's a nice easy one. Entry there, stop at the highs, take profit at the monthly pivots. Not all, but some profit at the monthly pivot. So GER 30 or the DAX. And entries at that weekly pivot, so 12.840, I think it is. Short 12.840. Now I've got a FTSE short, so it's kind of the same trade in many respects, and we can talk about why in a moment. But that would be your short entry. Stops at the highs, but I really like these shorts today. 13 actually looks like I'd put it down to 13.45. Put this to 13.45. With a stop loss at 1300. Sorry, 12.845. Stop loss at 13,000. That looks really good, Dennis. I really like that. Really like the look of that. Take profit, and as I say, I wouldn't take it all. Just a TP1 is going to be down here at 12,575. So there are the levels there. So let's get to the pound trade, mates. I think Dennis has spotted a good one there, though. I like that a lot.
Right, mate. Just about to be triggered short, I would imagine. I haven't actually placed the trade myself yet. I better do that. I'll take screen. All right. This happens a bit quickly these days because of the way we're doing it.
Now, oh yeah, just quickly, I wouldn't chase that. I wouldn't chase that DAX if you're not in already. Actually, oh no, forget that. The DAX may well move.
Okay, there's some chance I won't get in this because it's already gone through entry. It's a sell order. Sell stop. 130.65. And the stop loss is above that bar at high of lowest candle. Where is that? It's not telling me. Okay, 130.92. That makes sense. All right, so it's come back. We will get into this. We will not get into this. 130.92. What have I done wrong here? Nothing. Sell stop 130.65. Must be too close to entry. So it's not going to let me in. I'll have to wait till it pulls back a little bit. But that would be the trade. No need to put the buy in because it is irrelevant now. Let me try again. No, it won't let me. Anyway, you know the levels. Now take profits. Might let me now. No. The take profits, rightio, we need to sort that out. We have got a risk factor of, I can't even see it because the order box. We've got 28 pips. So we're looking for 14 pips as a TP1 or the nearest support level. So probably coincides with one another. Yeah, I'll stick with 14 pips. So TP1 is going to be 14 pips. Let me. No, it won't. We'll come back to it. Which will actually be 130.79. Now, the reason I use a level rather than an amount of pips is because oftentimes the broker won't fill you at the correct price. So it might become 30.92.8 or something. Therefore, that TP1 moves, and I don't want it to move. Okay. And this one can go that way. Righto, let's see if we can get this in the market. New order. Pending order. Sell stop at 130.65. And the stop loss is 130.93. And that's all we need to do. Right. Okay. That's got to do a bit of work to get us in now, but that's okay. We'll get rid of that. And we are good to go. Guys, I don't know if you guys were lucky as me with this breakout trade on, when was it, Monday or Tuesday? Was I in here Tuesday? No, I was in here Monday. You'll recall that I gave you the wrong stop loss. Well, look what happened because of that. I actually banked all of that up to here. But that was good luck, not good management. With any luck, some of you did as well, but not there. Aussie Kiwi up and down. Hi, Helen. Hi, Ellen. Hi, everybody who said hello. Ash Dennis wants to long, not short.
Oh, long, no, Dennis. That wouldn't be my play at all. That wouldn't be my play at all.
Okay,
yeah. No, it's a short in my opinion, and I'll give you the reasons why in a moment. But I think global markets today are really good. It's really good now to start shorting. Shukri, we might have it, mate. We might finally have our drop, and we'll talk about it in a moment.
Okay, I assume that's got something to do with the cryptos, is it? Oh, sorry, cryptos.
No, it's not to do with the cryptos, mate. It's to do with the fact that Shukri really informs us about the fact that there are cryptocurrency correlations with the stock market. So if we are looking for downside in stock markets, then cryptos may well give us a bit of an opportunity also to get in. I am looking at the cryptos this morning. Cardano down very, very slightly, 0.5%, and also I am seeing the weakness come in with actually Ethereum's up very, very slightly, around about 0.5%, but still, I think we've got a case to be made now that that we can start shorting this market, and as I say, I'll get to the reasons why in a moment.
Yammed. The Irish won't like that. It means you got potatoed. The new stop loss in Forex is we got yammed. I got yammed this week on Euro Aussie.
Oh, yeah. Aussie CAD as well we got into. I've taken a bit of profit on that one as well. So
yeah, the Aussie was kind to us yesterday.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? Was good day yesterday, actually. Really good day. Had some decent movement.
CAD Swiss, how's that going today? We got into CAD Swiss. We got a TP1 on CAD Swiss. We got into the Aussie. And the Aussie came, we pretty much picked the top on the Aussie, which was pretty cool. And that is, how's that going today so far? Yeah, you'd expect a little bit of a bounce here, wouldn't you? I'll be looking for a bounce off weekly pivot, maybe to the daily pivot, and then slam dunk down to the bottom. That's what we'll be looking for on the Aussie. What else you got going, mate? Aussie CAD, you got into it?
Yeah, we got into Aussie CAD actually. Yep. Yeah, a few days ago, and that's had a really nice move to the downside yesterday. But the problem with the demand for oil, it may just put the brakes on that. So I think taking advantage of the move was probably a good idea, and then we'll see if we can get through the level again. I can share screen again if you like, mate. We can talk about these stocks.
Sure. Sorry, these we'll come back to the currencies when I'm willing to trade them. I've got a few orders in the market that haven't triggered yet, so I'll share those.
So this is a short for me, Alan, and there's there's some things to really like about this. The short down to this, but firstly, this is the short entry and area. We can see that there's resistance here at the weekly pivot. See, there's resistance there. It's even reacting to it. That's a great place for a stop, and that's a great place for a target. So we've got a really nice risk-reward ratio kind of going on there to get us started. But I think this is going further. I think global equities are now going to start to weaken. I'm seeing a potential setup here with the FTSE. It's a little bit low, and I think we could probably do with waiting for it to go up a bit more before we enter it. And I don't see any huge crashing when it comes down to the barometers, but it might come down from this particular point. But the reason, we've got to figure out why. Why am I so bearish? On these equities. Now I have been for a while, but I'm particularly bearish this morning, and I think the setups are really going to come into play. Alan, are you still in that Dow? No, I haven't taught Jeff the new term. I haven't taught him YAM just yet, but we'll talk about YAM.
I don't want to know about YAM.
You really don't, actually. YAM was a cryptocurrency, unless I'm wrong, that went to zero, and everybody got kind of really excited. Lewis, did you go long on Ethereum or short? Because I'd be really careful now going long at this stage. I think we should all be looking for some downside and enjoy the fact that we might actually finally get it. So let's talk about what's going on here with equities. So you're still short. Brilliant. Okay, so we got the US, we got the Dow broke through yesterday. Now this is a 4-hour chart, so let's go to the daily. Doesn't look so attractive on the daily, and this is definitely a support level right here. So it's got to get through that. But if that does get through that, then we are, by the looks of this, going down to around about where the monthly pivot is. It looks like there might be a trend line there that it's got to get through as well. So it could coincide here. But it looks to me like we might be starting our journey. And let's think about why. The two major reasons that this this market is going up. In fact, I will write them on the screen. Don't know if I really need to write them on the screen. Do I need to write them on the screen? Nah, let's not write them on the screen. It'll be silly. I haven't got anything else to write but two things. The two major reasons this market is going up is because of potential stimulus from the Fed and stimulus from the US government. Now we know that the US government are finding it difficult to get a deal. Now the market did not react negatively off the fact that there was no agreement on Capitol Hill. However, yesterday we got the Fed minutes, and the Fed minutes, I think, were on the whole fairly supportive of further stimulus. But was it Kaplan Was it Kaplan? Let me just find out who it was who came out and said what he said. Can't remember if it was Kaplan. I think it was, but it was a Fed. It was a Fed member anyway. So these are the Fed minutes. Let me just see who it was. No, it wasn't there. Yeah, so the first thing, you can just read the headline. The tone from the minutes indicates some concern over the state of the economy with the Fed staff economic outlook, warning that blah, 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 and stimulus will still potentially come in. However, when Kaplan came out, he said something completely different. He effectively said that the Fed are going to be kind of stepping back a little bit because they need to just allow this data to unfold. So the market's expectation that this economy's the US economy is going to be continue to be stimulated is probably overstated a little bit here. So if the Fed aren't supporting and the US government have not yet found a deal to support, then that points to downside. The reason that we should get some kind of move to the downside, which is more significant than we currently have, is that the S&P hit that all-time high and now it's starting to reverse. The Nasdaq, forget it, because it's difficult to know where the levels are. But the Nasdaq will potentially follow it to the downside because if the S&P is looking weak, there are tech stocks in the S&P that also are in the Nasdaq. So the Nasdaq will probably come down as well. The Dow Jones Industrials also at really significant levels here, and we see this on a weekly chart, probably best of all. Decent level there. And it's just kind of trapped on top of that horizontal level. The DAX really looks like, I mean, technically speaking, it looks like a slanted kind of upper right shoulder. Here, when you see this on a daily, it looks like a slanted upper right shoulder here. So this is showing some signs of potential weakness, and all we've been doing is waiting for this one to topple over. And what's going to be the potentially the catalyst to topple it over? Well, Fed stimulus being taken away, or Fed stimulus not continue at the same pace, could be the catalyst to topple this over. The only reason that I think that we possibly could hold for a day or so is because we still have the meetings. We got Philly Fed. We got some data there. We still got the important data from the EU tomorrow. So that may well hold up the German the DAX. And there's numbers here from the US. Now, if these numbers are positive, that could well be negative for the market, because the bottom line is, if the Fed see that these numbers the economy is effectively now breathing on its own, life support may well come off. And that was what was intimated yesterday. So if these numbers are bad, they may well give us some upside rather than downside. But if these numbers are good, it might well be that we see some downside rather than upside. So I think 1:30, when we start our next free show, could be a really interesting period. It could be a really interesting period this afternoon. So this suggests maybe we'll be a bit early to go in to oh, sorry, we got the ECB monetary policy meeting accounts as well at 12:30. But this suggests we might be a bit early to go into the downside. But I would suggest that there is a potential for downside. And if you've got a setup, it should be taken, because it's probably still unlikely to go through some of those stop areas. So that one lower. Same with the FTSE. FTSE should be looking for further downside, probably in this area where I've already got an entry, but probably in that area there's another potential entry for a short, and I might double up there because I went in really light, so I might come in again here, but around about the daily pivot for some downside. So I think there's a good chance all of a sudden that we weaken from this particular point. And we only have to look at the FTSE 100 on a weekly time frame to see. Let me get rid of these levels because I find them very, very off-putting. This we only have to look at the weekly chart to recognize that what we have here on a weekly chart over a long period of time, and remember what I said recently as well, we've got to be looking at these on longer term time frames. You can't trade this intraday really. It's just not a very nice chart to trade intraday, so we've got to be looking longer term. And at this point we have a lower high. There's our high. We have a lower high, we have a lower low, and this area for a potential lower high, which really gives us a very sticky but cyclical trend. You know, that there is a very, very small trend happening here, very, very unclear, I'd say, but tight, in fact, let's put it that way. A very tight trend happening here, and we're waiting for that real explosion. Now, that explosion could come here down to this point, and then I'll be looking at the longs. To be fair, this to me is a buy zone on the FTSE around about the 5,500 level would become a buy zone. But while we sit where we sit, I think there's a really good chance that we do actually come down and collapse a little bit to this particular point. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for market weakness this morning. Today, and going into tomorrow as well. And it could be that we wait for those numbers, and after those numbers have been released, that we get the opportunity that I want. But as I say, if you see a setup, my advice would be at this stage that it should be taken, because the technicals now may well have a reason to exist. So that's my analysis, mate. And it's really all about stimulus. Not about numbers, not about data, not about anything else. It's really about stimulus. And stimulus looks to me like it's drying up, and life support may well be coming, certainly being put on monitoring the life support from here on in. And I think that might drive these markets lower. I think it's been waiting for to sell off ever since we failed to get a deal with Capitol Hill. But it didn't do that. You know, it remained where it was. So while it remained where it was, we were just waiting for something else. But I personally think we now have it. So I'm interested to trade this FTSE again on the short side, and it'd be the same with the DAX, same with the S&P, same with the DAX, the Dow, and maybe less so with the Nasdaq. There's your level there, coinciding beautifully with this daily pivot. Now let's pull up a fib as well and see if we got a third level from the highest point to the lowest point. Yep, 61% retracement really brings us back into this area here. So very close. That's close enough. That's within 3 pips of the daily pivot. So that looks like a really good area for a short to me, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going short again at 60.78, regardless of what's happening out there. I think this is a bit of a relief rally more than anything else. So somewhere around about this area, I'll be shorting the market. And let's pull the fib from the top as well. That takes us up to this particular point, 50% retracement of the whole move to the downside. So this would be on a different time frame, if you like. You know, on the well, that is the move so far. Maybe on the daily. Yeah, on the daily, that's a day over day fib there, really, and that is suggesting that that there is a point in this area here that looks like the gap area to me. Around here. That's the sweet spot for the FTSE, somewhere between 77 and 85. So there's a 10 pip sweep spot there that I think we can grab, and we can wait for our reversal pattern. No big deal. I won't just put an order in necessarily, but let's see if we can get that, and I suspect we probably will. With data out from the US later on, I suspect we probably will get that. Obviously, if it goes through this area, everything's changed and we don't have anything. So that is the thesis, mate. I am short on the FTSE. I'm going short on the FTSE, and it'd be hard to convince me to do something else now.
Right, bud. I like it. I've got a question here I need to answer. If you are done, I will do exactly that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Righto. To do with Euro Aussie, and Sino has asked me what do I think of a slingshot ABC long on a 4-hour chart. And a couple of things, Sino. First, you can see where we are in relation to the top of our rectangle, which means we're in a very, very precarious situation if we want to go long here, because we're trading straight into resistance. If we go a little bit wider, you can see the context of that range, if you like, which has been a consolidation pattern after a massive downtrend, which pretty much I'll get that out, matched the COVID-19 reaction, right? So we went straight up and we came pretty much straight down, all in the space of 6 months, not even 6 months, 5 months. So little wonder that the market since then, and it all, of course, and we've been speaking about it forever, it all is the result of a massive increase in volatility through here, and now a massive settling down of volatility through this period here. So what I now need to consider is, what does this rectangle mean? Well, until it breaks, I don't know. I really don't know. I've got no idea whether it's a continuation pattern or whether it's a reversal. I haven't got the vaguest idea, to be honest with you. Absolutely no clue. The one thing I would say is that on the bigger picture, if you go a little bit wider, this still looks to be, to my mind, in a down, hard to say momentum, but I'll say it, in a downward momentum. So you can see this level through here, pretty much where price is. Been rejected, been support here as well. So it'd be very, very difficult for me right now to say I'm bullish on Euro Aussie. And the truth is I'm not. I see a potential setup here to trade this long. We would have to enter pretty much where price is now, and we would have had to have traded that bar as a pullback from the resistance trade line. And again, my issue is, where do I see profit on this? And I don't, to be fair. It would have to break out of this range that I've just shown you is pretty strong. The top side of this range is pretty strong. So I don't know that the markets in general, and certainly the euro versus the Aussie in particular, is ready to break out of those ranges. Because I can't make a case for the euro at the moment, given, if we have a look at the euro, well, actually I can make a case for a little bit left in the euro, but we've come off this trade line here, or trend line here. The question is, are we at the strongest level? And probably the answer is maybe not yet. There's the strongest level there, in my humble opinion, but we are overbought. So I'm definitely thinking pullback on here. And now if you compare that to the Aussie, they're pretty similar. If you go to the monthly on the Aussie chart, or sorry, the Aussie chart on the monthly, they're very, very similar. This too is at a strong resistance level. The question is, which one is stronger? Is it the one we've just been through or the one we're at? So I just can't get a line through either one, to be honest with you. And for that reason, I don't see an advantage of the euro over the Aussie, and therefore I can't be biased long. And if I'm not biased long and I haven't got a gilt edge setup that's going to get me, like, if we took this risk on and traded this candle, you'd probably want to get your stops below the pivots. So you're looking at 57 pips. DR2's a no-go zone for me beyond there. So you haven't even got one-to-one as a reward here. And to the top of the range, same. You've probably got one-to-one. So it's probably something that I wouldn't enter. In fact, I'd probably be looking for that to hit the top of here and come back underneath the pivots, give us a retest and go short. So that would be my bias. It's not going to stop it going long, of course. That's always the case. If who knows what puts a motor under the bonnet of currency pairs. Who knows at the moment? It just happens very, very quickly, as we saw on this exact pair that I was trading short. When was that? On Monday? Perhaps on Monday. And we just got poleaxed or yammed, as I'm now told I need to say, where we tried to trade this short and just got slam dunk with this bar here. What did that mean? No idea. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell me a good answer on that one yet. So, gee whiz, I'm going a long way around saying no, I don't like it at the end of the day. So, again, it won't stop it going there, but it wouldn't be something that I'd be looking to trade. Hope that helps. I think that's all the questions that I have. So I'll very, very briefly go through a couple of things that I am interested in today. EuroCAD, you'll be surprised to know, is one of them. And if this doesn't work this time, then something is, well, not something is wrong. We can try again, but to me, this looks very much like a trade that I have to take, as it was on Monday. EuroCAD short, and we are in the market here, so, and out of the money at the moment. If you're interested in taking that position, then now is probably a good time because it's running away from us in the opposite direction. We've got our entry underneath the bar of Monday, and we've got our stop loss above the bar of Tuesday. But it still, to me, looks like an excellent opportunity to trade this short. A couple of take profit areas. There's one there, and there's another 155.30. Yeah, I've roughly got that on the same spot. The entry level is at 1.5645. The stop loss is 1.5755. TP1 is 1.5600. And TP2 is at 1.5530. And it's just playing lower highs, really. That's all we're playing here is a lower high. In this case, it's interesting because we've now got a double cross of the pivots, almost a double cross of the pivots, which means pretty much a long position is what I would take there as well. So if you're not comfortable with this, then certainly don't take it. It's the second attempt that I've had, or is it the fifth attempt actually? We got two winners, a non-entry and a TP1 out of this so far, trying to get this move that I'm hell-bent on actually achieving, and it's based on these two high test bars here. Big tweezer top there, but a big double top here as well. So happy to be in that position on EuroCAD. CAD Swiss, you guys know about. We took that yesterday. What did I take this morning? Took one this morning. Euro pound again. Glutton for punishment, aren't I? Although we didn't lose on Euro pound, did we? I don't think we haven't been taken in yet. Euro pound. Well, it certainly looks to be going through the high side. There's no question about that. And I think at this, I'll see how this candle closes, but I'll likely be cancelling this order because it appears that for now I've got the direction wrong. And who'd be surprised at that, given what we've seen over the past, 10, 12, 14 days even. It's just, and we've been speaking about this at length, but I've got a setup, right? Double cross of all the pivots. And for that reason, I'll place the order. No danger as yet. As I said, I'll just hang on to this until I'm told otherwise by the market, and that will probably be a close above this high here. If I get a close above this high here, I'll probably cancel that order for sure. What else? No, I think that's it in terms of trades. We've got, I'm still looking to get back in. Oh, here's one, pound CAD. I was looking at pound CAD, and there's a potential ABC for you on the pound CAD sino. It's not perfect, however, and again, because of the macro picture, I've got to say no to this. It's a break of the trade line, and similar to what we've just looked at on EuroCAD, bearish engulfing bar, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and a nice little flag pattern sitting there. So I'm absolutely keen to trade this short, but you also see that we've got an untested daily pivot above us, and we haven't really had a retest of the monthly pivot. So I'm a little bit skeptical about that one. And, really, I've got 4 or 5 trades in the market. I don't need to be chasing anything, and anything that's not crystal clear, I'll just stay out of it at this point. So that's pound CAD. The other trades that we're still in, pound Kiwi and pound Aussie. Pound Kiwi just won't retrace enough for me to get in to another position. You could be excused, however, for trading this bar here, and I said as much this morning, I think. But gee, it's a bit big. It really is. You're looking at 230 pips. Your closest level is only 35 pips away. So no, I don't think it's for me. Not that one. I need something that's a little bit better than that, maybe back to here or even here, before I want to scale back into pound Kiwi. And pound Aussie is pretty much marking time, doing nothing inside this range that you can see. But I am kind of interested because we've come off the bottom of the range of trading this one long. A couple of others that we have been looking at, Euro Kiwi in particular. Euro Kiwi. Yeah, I'm starting to like this. Not for a long, but a short. And that's based on the daily bars of Monday and Tuesday, where we got this little tweezer top sitting on that strong support and resistance area here at around about the 182 level. So a lower high here does get me interested, and I'm waiting on that. Truly waiting on that. We flagged this on Monday and Tuesday in all the shows, so waiting on that one to come clean. Kiwi yen's another one that I wanted to get into. Yeah, it's sort of flirting around there, not doing too much at all. And I want to get into this short at some stage. Now's not the time for me, I don't think. I'll just have to be a little bit more patient than I am. Well, that I need to be, I suppose. And the reason is we're at the bottom of the range here. We've got a little bit of a rejection of that at this point. We've had a re-entry, but then we've had a close below it. It's mixed messages that I'm getting. So there's nothing clear here. Low test, high tests. Yeah, I can totally see a bounce off the weekly pivot to go short. Get that. But do I really have a clear picture? A clear high, a lower high? I've got the double top. I think I'd like to see price get back up to here and maybe even beyond, and then give me a rejection bar. Then I can look to go short. But I'm committed to that bias. There's no question about that. And hopefully that will pan out at some stage. Mate, I think that's about all. Aussie, did we speak about the Aussie?
Oh, I don't think so.
We mentioned it, but we didn't do anything. Don't know. Yeah, we mentioned it. This was actually, I'm really keen when these setups come because they're obscure, and I said that yesterday. This was really an obscure one, and I'll be going right through it this evening in the strategy leader coaching session, because there'll be plenty of people who even know the strategy wouldn't have even seen this, and I'll be pointing that out then in that show. That's part of the strategy that I'm really happy with, because it just converts many times, and this was another one of those. You're welcome, Sino. I hope that helps, mate. With this, I don't expect this to go too far, Ash, to be fair. And that's because of this. Our good old favorite dollar index.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, isn't it? The dollar index.
Yeah, well, it's finally come to another level. And that level, of course, you can call it 93 if you want, but it's there at the moment, actually. And this was part of the Aussie US dollar short yesterday, because I could see we were at this level and the propensity for bounce here is pretty strong. And I see this level above us around about where 95. I'm not sure if it can get back to there, but it looks to be a nice catching area where we can look for short. And don't forget, I've been looking for this to come back to that trade line since we were just under the dollar mark, and it just hasn't done it. Still hasn't done it. Is this the time? I don't know. And what can make it happen? Give me something to hang on to here, Ash, that the US dollar can actually rally 200 pips.
I think it could, mate, and you know, it's really back to the same story. If the Fed are going to be cutting back, well, maybe not cutting back, but certainly not adding any more stimulus, then maybe the price of the dollar is baked in down here. So I think it's got a good shout of starting to recover from this particular level. I've seen overnight the gold was significantly lower, the euro was significantly lower, and that was really off the back of that statement made by I'm pretty sure it was Kaplan, but one of the Fed guys. It was off the back of that. So yeah, I like the dollar story for a long from here.
Okay, cool. I'm happy for it to do that. Most certainly, if it goes back to 95, we can get into all these positions once again. Well, I believe we can, because I can't see it going any further than that. Anyway, that's my opinion. And until it proves itself, then it doesn't mean too much, to be fair, in the scheme of things. Yeah. I swear you're right. I didn't even mention CAD Swiss this morning, I don't think. We traded that yesterday. And we got a TP1 pretty quickly. And now we're getting a retest of this level here, which is pretty cool. This is almost, if you're not in CAD Swiss, a potential entry here on the daily chart, certainly tomorrow. I don't see one here at the moment, but on the daily chart, I think tomorrow morning that may well be, if it hangs around here and maybe rejects the daily pivot. I can definitely see a potential entry. Absolutely no.
We seem to have lost you, mate. May well have lost Jeff there. I'm just going to grab the screen back here. So FTSE's, look, it didn't quite get inside that zone. Well, just about kind of got inside the zone, but it hasn't quite settled there yet. So I'd like just to see it one more time up here and see if it can settle down. But look at the rejection happening here. So this level is definitely a strong level. You know, price has come up there and it's just moved away. So the initial 5 minutes worth of price action is really telling us that this is an area that we've got to be interested in here. So I'd really like to wait until the top of the hour. I mean, it might mean losing the opportunity, which I'm not too keen on. But if it touches that daily pivot, then I'll be okay to trade that one. Now we got 5 minutes worth of price action here, which is just starting to put in what looks like a reversal. So it might be that entry under that bar might be sensible. I don't really want to do that, and because I've already got a position in, I won't do that. I do really like this. It only just touched inside the area that I want before rejecting, but it is suggesting that there is. I mean, it's only a 5 minute bar, but the first 5 minutes is really telling us the first 5 minute rejection is really telling us that there are orders here that are quite happy to be filled. Let's just go around and have a look what that's stating with the DAX. Now the DAX is through the pivot, but only just, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that down below by the top of the hour. And maybe the DAX is going to come and touch this level here, or maybe that touches its its own daily pivot. Now I'm quite happy to take the trade on the FTSE. You see, there's not enough room to be that concerned there. So I think I might take the trade early if we pop up. We have a nice little pop to the upside. I'm okay to take this a little bit earlier. Just want to see it up there. Yeah, I just want to see it up there instead. The higher that 5 minute wouldn't be too bad. In actual fact, $60.80. I'm going to put my order in. $60.80. I'm all right with that price. No,
Hello.
just. Oh, you're back.
I don't know what happened. It's dropped out.
We lost you, mate. Now I'm just there, but I've just put an order in the market here just to try and get into this FTSE here. And I've done it at 60.80. I'd really like to see this here really by the top of the hour. So that's why I'm going to put my order there and then see if we can get in 60.80, which is 9 up, isn't it? Yeah, let's see if we can get this 60.80. If we can just get one more big push to the upside, see if we can touch that level and then get us our entry here. There is weakness. I'm looking 5 over 5 here, and 5 over 5. This is weakening here. So it's giving us a hint, really, that the price point is right, but it only just pipped into my zone. So so because of that, I'm going to wait on this. Now, as I say, I'm already short in the market, so I don't really need to chase it with an extra entry at a price I don't like. But so it's got to get up to here, at least to 77 and above. I will consider, but I'm going to be a bit frugal and not go in before that. It might just want to break down early. Let's hope, mate. Fingers crossed. This gets up just one more time and gives us that.
What happened?
Gives that. Oh, sorry. I just pulled my headphones off my ear.
Oh yes, okay, that happens.
There we go. Yeah. So fingers crossed that gives us just one more plump to the upside. Now, when it comes down here, we can see that that the 5 is weakening. So what we need here is for this not to go through these levels here. Need that to come down and bounce and just give us that one more opportunity to get in. But we are seeing that there is weakness. Now I'm going to check again across the board here. Nasdaq not really showing us a whole bunch. Yeah, look at the Dow. The Dow's showing us the same thing. So when we see this on across the board, there is a greater probability that it works out. We're not seeing them all go in opposite directions. They're all kind of they're all in agreement with each other. That's a pretty big reaction. 5 over 5. Well, we'll leave that there, mate. We'll leave that there. No point in getting excited. Hopefully we get our entry. We get another bite at this. But you never know. Now, if we don't get a bite at this, then the entries are going to, they're going to become a little bit more tricky. They're going to be under levels rather than on top of levels. But you never know. Let me just see that this has to hold up really we need this 5 minutes, current 5 minute trend to continue. Look at that. That is a lovely evening star there. So this 3 candle pattern here is telling us that the weakness is fairly strong. A decent blowout push to the upside, a nice bar there, and then the close down more than 50% into this candle here is suggesting that there really is some genuine selling going on up here. And now the other thing was that yesterday, during most of the day's trading, it was on very, very light volume. And that's another red flag, really. When you see kind of a rally happen on light volume, then the sustainability of it really does change quite significantly. Right, looking under the hood just here, then I'll just tell you that FTSE 100, fairly big change. 67% of stocks are in positive territory, so there is a fairly big dip from the 80% we initially had. So let's see if we can get just up one more time here. I'm not sure if it's going to make it, mate. I think we might have missed the upper level here, but let's hope for one blowout run so we can get this short on the market. Were you mid-flow there, mate?
Mate, I probably was, and I've got no idea where I actually bailed out, but if somebody can help me there. I think I was talking about the dollar index, and
yeah, well, this is the the other thing about looking at this chart here is look at what's happening to the euro dollar. Now, this is, as I always say, the closest thing we have to the dollar index. Breaking through here the euro dollar, but again, it's pumped its way up, not able to kind of touch the pivot as yet, but it looks like that there is some genuine resistance here. So right across the board, we're seeing signs and signals that we should be looking at shorts in these indices. We got a euro dollar, which is a dollar which is strengthening at a similar time frame as we saw prior to the drop down in the FTSE. We've got the same happening with the Dow. We've got the same happening with the Nasdaq. We've got the same happening with the DAX. A pretty aggressive bar as well there with the DAX. We've got the same happening with the S&P. And obviously, we've got the same happening with the FTSE. So I just need one more push to the upside just so we can get in to the downside here, mate. But you just don't know. I mean, to be honest, I wanted to wait to the top of the hour anyway, just for a slightly better signal. But in saying that, if it had managed to touch that daily pivot, then I would have been quite happy to take it. But we just got to hope for the best that we get up there now, mate. Just need to stretch our legs. We've got another 7 minutes to get back to the highs. So just to try one more time back to the highs. But let's see if we get it. I'm having my suspicions that we may not. Now, obviously, that means that the other trades that I've got in the market are looking good for a really good move to the downside. But it will be a shame not to add to what could be a potentially decent run lower.
Fair bit going on in the currencies as well. There's a little bit of movement, which is good. I may place an order very shortly as well. Okay. And this one will be right out of left field. But that happens. I'll go there now if you want.
Yeah, let's have a look, mate.
Righto. Now it'll be Euro CAD, guys. Guess which direction? Go on, guess.
Ethereum's just gone lower as well, just for everyone out there. So we got Ethereum down about 0.5%. We got Cardano down 1.5% on the session so far, and we have Bitcoin also down about 0.3% as well. So we're definitely seeing weakness across the board here, mate.
Roger D, mate. That sounds good to your first trade, but I'm probably not sure you're going to get into the second by the sound of that.
No, well, let's hope for the best.
Mm-hmm. All right, now things are changing here at a fairly steady pace, which is a good thing because that means we can make money. And EuroCAD's one of those. Now I'm not walking away from my daily trade, which I still see. I still see this double top. I still see the level, blah blah blah, etc., etc. And at the moment, on the 30-minute chart, what I'm seeing is the opportunity for the buyers to push this back to the weekly pivot at least, and maybe even back to these highs. And that's okay, as long as they don't go through here, obviously. This is potentially a double cross of the daily pivot, but also an approach and a pullback of the resistance trade line. So if in 5 minutes this candle looks like it is, or 4 minutes and 13 seconds, I will place an order long above this bar. I will put my stops probably there. So we can probably get ready for that if you like. Entry will be there. We've got about 12 or 13 pips of potential profit. So it's about 0.5 to 1 for our first TP1, a little bit less than that. And our exit level will be here, which is around about, what was the risk? Not quite 2 to 1 there. So you'd be probably getting around about an even money bet here, round about by the time you've taken profit here. So that's what I will do. I'll give you the levels. We can put them on the chart. We've got an entry at 156.79. EuroCAD. This is M30. I'm in the wrong case, but it doesn't matter. It is a buy at, don't want that. This looks terrible. I'm going to make that better. It's very unprofessional. Euro CAD M30 buy at level again. It's going to trick me, isn't it? Why don't I just put this on the chart so I don't have to work it out. Blue violet. I don't want blue violet. I want white. Give me white.
Nice colour, blue violet.
Bloody awful. Can't read it. That's better. Okay, so the order becomes, yeah, I think that's wise actually. 156.79 is the buy level. $1.5679, and the stop loss is at 1.5651. My thanks to Kumar for that. I must change that to white as well, I think. And TP1 is the weekly pivot. It's going to show me that. No. Okay. TP1. Close that. Go to there. Weekly pivot is at 156.92. So we'll go 1.5690 as our TP1. Okay, so there's not a lot in that in terms of reward, but it is a little bit of a hedge as well. So I'm okay with it. And the setup's there. We've got a tweezer top here. We've got a higher low. We've broken back above the monthly pivot and we virtually retested it. So that is a perfectly valid setup here. And we've got a slingshot 3-candle setup, which tells us that if price comes back to here, it will go to there at least and potentially beyond. So we'll be closing 50% of the order if and when we get to 2 pips below the weekly pivot. That will be the GO. Better place the order, I suppose. $1.5679. And stop loss 1.5651. Okay, we're at the top of the hour. Does that make any difference to you, mate? The fact that we're at the top of the hour?
Well, not really. It would have done if my price was at the right place, but it really isn't. So no use to me. But you know, after you finish, you'll have a quick look around the grounds just to sort of see what we're seeing on some of these other indications that this market is going to weaken. But I don't think I can get in now. I'd have to get it in at a low rather than a high. So I'm not going to take it. I'm going to leave the order sitting in the market and see if I can get triggered. If it comes up near it, I might take it manually, but it's not there right now.
Right. Okay. So all the euro pairs are very, very similar. They've just come. Euro Aussie didn't. Interesting, Sino. Euro Aussie is still up there. It's not going to make any difference to me. My analysis remains the same, but it didn't come back. Interesting. Euro Kiwi, we're still keen to trade that, are we not? Yes. 30-minute chart. Yeah, high test bar, that's not my MO, not in this particular case. I don't see any relevance to it. Except that if we come back below here, it'll be interesting. That trade line there is no good anymore. But yeah, I don't see anything promising there. We weren't looking at Euro Yen, Euro Swissy, Dollar CAD. CAD Swissy is one that we are looking at. Nothing's changed there, so no need to do anything. The Aussie, you would expect it to hit weekly pivot and bounce back to the daily, but I don't want to trade that because there's nothing there to trade at this point. Aussie CADs, I wish I was in that Ash with you. Oh, Sino, you were looking at Euro CAD, and I said long, not short. You wanted to, yeah, I can't trade this short. There's no setup for me. Sorry. Where did I get to? Aussie CAD. Yeah, I can't get in there with you, bud. There's no way for me. But I hope it goes to Hades for you. Swissy Yen. Keen to get short that as well. And that's showing me a double cross of the daily pivot. Maybe we've got to go the other way today. That's interesting. Double bottom, break, retest. Interesting.
What you got there, mate?
Yeah, I've got Swiss Yen, and I'm pretty bearish on it, but I can see it. I can see a potential to go back to here, which won't harm the cyclicity at all. In fact, it's probably a better place to go short than not. Yeah, look, this is worth a little bit of a run. Swiss Yen, as I say, it's completely against my bias, but and I'll only go in very light here. 0.25% tons on this. And I won't even take profit. I'll move my stops to entry at TP1, but I won't take any profit. So it's a buy stop. That's right. The entry level will be undisclosed at this point because it won't show it to me. My goodness gracious, Ignatius. Can I do this? Yes, I can. Blue, violet, no. Red, no. Okay, much better. Entry is at 116.24. Stop loss is I'm just trading this bar. So now I've got a low 116.10. And that will do. As I said, TP1 I will take at that level there, which is 116.32. I won't take any profit. I'll just move my stops to entry. And then I'll let it run to 116.47, where I'll just close it, the whole position. Okay, so we're risking 14 pips to get 23. So yeah, not 1.63 to 1 or something like that. That'll do. And that's Swissy yen. Thereafter, I'll be looking for shorts. Right, mate. I told you there was a bit happening.
There is. That FTSE doesn't look like it's going to come back at this stage. It's got a bit quiet, but it's settling down at this lower price, which is not too good for me, really. It doesn't mean it suggests that I'm probably not going to get to add to the position here anyway. I'll have to add a bit later on, which is a bit annoying, but I will quickly run around the grounds and then we will finish up. So we got
okay. That one
FTSE
hurts
100.
Aussie yen's going without me, so is Aussie CAD. Never mind.
Yeah, we got FTSE 100 settling down here quite nicely actually now. It looks like there's little that 5 minute trend area that needs to hold up is just becoming under pressure. So FTSE 100 looks like some further downside from this particular point. Might get a little spring later on, so we might have to wait. The DAX didn't able to hold its area above that weekly pivot there. When we look at this on the hourly, look at that bar. You know, it tried very, very hard to get above, not able to hold above the weekly pivot. So that's looking like a pretty good signal for some further downside. The Dow Jones maybe not looking quite as negative at this stage. So that might fill us with a bit of hope that there could be a bit of upside in the US session. The Nasdaq maybe the same, but it is in a potential resistance spot. So it's kind of possibly in a sell zone there. Maybe not quite as good as it could be. Get up to that daily pivot would be the best. The S&P again, you know, maybe this fills us with some hope that we could get that second position in with the possibility of grabbing that daily pivot before showing some signs of weakness. It's got a weekly pivot hold right now, and it does look like the sweet spot in the S&P would be around that daily pivot. So could be maybe we do get the upside that we need, mate. But I'm not going to jump in. I think there is enough in the way of signals that we should be looking at the shorts, but the price is all of a sudden gotten a bit away from us, so I can't justify going short here. But the order is sat in the market, and we'll see if we can get that second position in. Sorry. The last thing I wanted to just mention was gold. So gold, really, look at the positions now with gold. This is another one that should weaken off the back of that statement yesterday. And we did see a big move to the downside. It's now under the daily and weekly pivot. So some further downside with gold, I think, is highly probable. So we're seeing gold weaken, global equities weaken. We're seeing the VIX get stronger. We're seeing the dollar get stronger. We're seeing the euro get stronger as well. So there are really technical signs and signals, along with the potential that we have our fundamental reason for some weakness now really stepping into play. So I think everybody just needs to be aware of what's going on, and if you get the setup that meets your strategy from here, then make your decision on whether you agree with the analysis that I've made. But if you do, then try and get into some of these trades, because it certainly looks like the opportunities are there today for some genuine movement going into the end of the week and maybe beyond.
I just wonder if the guys in all the shows that we do are in all these trades. My goodness, I hope not. You've got to be a little bit careful with your risks, guys. Just keep them under control, because, you know, if half of these went wrong, you could be in a bit of bother. So just keep that risk management under control. Very, very important. A couple of things before we go. OCO and EuroCAD, no, Shukri, not an OCO. They're both perfectly valid setup. So let them go to either conclusion, whichever that will be. Sino was the same. I answered that one. And why two pips below the weekly pivot? Okay. That's a good question from Crystal. And the reason is this. If I miss the weekly pivot, and it's broker dependent, right? The weekly pivot might be within 5 pips of where one broker says it is and another broker says it isn't. So for that reason, I don't want to risk the visual of the weekly pivot being the criteria under which I place my order. Rather, I want it to be a level that is somewhere below that visual level. And that's the reason. So I don't want to miss it. If I'm asleep and I wake up and I've missed that by 2 pips, I'd be pretty pissed off. And it's happened to me 4,003,221 times and counting. So that's the reason I do that, and none other, to be fair. And just before we do go, did I just say that? I think I did. There's a whole lot still coming up this evening, guys. I've got 4 more webinars that I know of. The original show happens at 7 p.m. I've got strategy leader coaching at 8, and the reason I'm mentioning this is it's at 8 p.m. till 8:30, guys, rather than what it has been in the past. There's been a few changes around the timings because there's so many shows going to air these days, and the Slingshot strategy leader coaching is between 8 and 8:30. If you're registered for that, Ash and I will be back at 8:30 on the knocker. Well, Ash will be. I hope I can get out of strategy leader coaching on time. That would be difficult because I talk so much. And our US session, as usual, of course, will happen at 9 p.m. And by the end of that, I reckon I'll be looking for a coldie, mate.
Nice. Yeah, sounds good, mate. Sounds good.
Also,
okay.
two other things. Julian, if you're interested, guys, has one more spot left in his... What's he take? 4 people, I think, through pretty intensive coaching, and everyone who's been through that is super hyped about it. And we've got a new trader on board, mate. His name is Andrew. I don't know too much about him at this stage, but a very, very imposing record, and he comes with a big label.
Yeah.
So he'll be interested. I think he's got a show and a course coming up on the weekend, maybe. I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah.
Right. So that's a contacted actions to wealth thing on both occasions, on both counts. So I will leave you with that, guys, and catch you in one of the next, I don't know, 4 or 5 shows that are coming up.
Yeah, sounds good, mate. Okay, well, have a great afternoon for the rest of you, and we'll see you at 1:30 UK time. Some of you will be in the US show, so we'll continue the conversation there. We've got data out from the US at 1:30, so we can have a little thumb through that and see if it's made any difference to our potential entry with this FTSE. I hope it does. I hope we can get in again here, because you know, I really like the way that the FTSE is looking for some downside right across the board. So hopefully we'll get into that second position at a certainly a better price than we are now, but maybe not quite the price I wanted. It might need to come down a little bit more, but well, let's see what happens there. But we'll thumb through that data and see what that's telling us about what's going to happen. Gold continues to weaken, as you can see. So we will see the rest of you next Monday at the same time and same trade channel at 5 to 8.
That's a date. Don't be late. Have a great weekend, everyone.